Well, we're going to talk now about the other pillar, which is the one-to-one. The one-to-one. And I believe in the one-to-one. I always have, I always will, because I believe more than anything else, this is about beginning to build relationships. And it starts here. Yes, you can do it on the internet, you can do all sorts of things, but actually eyeballing somebody and starting the process of relationship, I believe, is fundamental. They don't buy forever, they buy you. Is that true? You know, how many people have experienced something when, you know, maybe you've gone into a shop and somebody's harassed you and you've left the store without buying what you wanted because you didn't like them. You didn't like their relationship with you. So I've always believed in setting the relationship down very quickly. To do a good one-to-one, you need to do some preparation. You do need some preparation. One of the first things is you've got to get your mind right. You see, unlike most people, I only ever sit down and do one-to-ones with potential diamonds. How about you? You know, when you're teeing up to meet somebody for a one-to-one, do you instinctively think, well, I don't suppose this one would be any good? Or do you think, I can't wait to do this one-to-one because this person could potentially be a diamond? Now, how much energy, how much focus, how much excitement are you going to give somebody who you believe could be a diamond as against, well, I don't know, this one may be any good. You see, it comes through in you, and they deserve your best, all right? The one-to-one is not to sell them forever. It's not to convince them into forever. It's in an agreeable way to meet up, begin the relationship building process, meet some of their needs with what's on offer, and educate them enough so that they want to take the next step of finding out more. Now, when I first started this process, I have to say I didn't understand it at all. You know, my first one-to-one was 2.5 hours. You know, I think the person immediately applied for immigration papers. It was a disaster. You also need to be prepared in terms of venue. Now, I like to work away from their home. I have to say, if only for the fact that I have a controlled environment. Not always possible, but I like to be somewhere where I can get their focus and attention for about 30 minutes without distraction. So I use a lot of coffee shops where I met Philippa, hotel foyers. I think it's fantastic. They spend millions of pounds on those buildings just so I can have a cup of coffee and do a one-to-one. I think it's incredibly generous. The reason why I do that is I found out long ago that things can get in the way. And once people lose their focus on what you're saying, then you've got an uphill struggle. I broke my own rule a number of years ago. I did a one-to-one in a house in Walton-on-Thames. And I didn't want to do it, but the person who was in the team, their contact was in Walton-on-Thames, and I couldn't shift this Walton-on-Thames person away from their home. So I went there. And, you know, you need to be in an environment where you can present and show. To my horror, I got into this lounge, which was about as big as this hall we're all in here. And there was a huge Italian sofa here, and there was a huge Italian sofa about, 300 meters away. So I sat down, right? Now, I want to present the business. I want to do a one-to-one. So I'm sitting in this extraordinary Italian leather thing. And the girl was sitting over there. And she's wobbling sort of gently from side to side. And I'm thinking, how can I meaningfully present the business? I can't go and join her on the sofa because that might be too intimate a thing, And I'm thinking, what do I do? What do I do? So we're wobbling away there, and I'm trying to show her. If she's got sort of binocular vision, she can see what I'm showing her. And stupidly, I accepted her invitation for a cup of coffee. All right, so now I'm wobbling, and the cup of coffee is doing that, and then the inevitable happened. The cup of coffee spilled over into my lap. Now, I'm in a light linen suit. I've got a scalded crotch, and I'm trying to do a focused one-to-one, all right? I try not to work in the home because if they've got kids, I love kids, but not when I'm doing a one-to-one. And suddenly the door opened, and the nanny came in with the two children. The children had clearly been having some food because one of the kids had hands covered in jam. The kids saw me and went, So now I'm on the Italian sofa, and I'm doing this. I'm thinking, I love kids, but not that much, all right? And so the final thing, the reason why I rarely do them in the home, they've got a poodle. And the poodle came in the room, and it decided to mate with my leg. So now and that, my friends, is why I very rarely do one-to-ones in the home. I like to do it in a coffee shop, as I say, hotel foyer. Be prepared. You need the Forever Knowledge download of the one-to-one. You need a presenter. I've got mine in quite a nice Filofax jobby. It doesn't really matter, but something that looks neat and tidy, not scraps of paper or loose leaf. You need a decent pen, all right? I always say, you know, we're representing a multi-million turnover business. If you need to get a pen out and you pull out a Bic and it's got a neat impression of your teeth, it's not really conducive. You know, they're going to know that something's not quite right here. Also, be very tidy. You don't have to go booted and suited. You know, I'm dressed this way because of where we are on the occasion. But smart and tidy. If, as when we started, you've only got one set of clothes, you know, they can be clean. The shoes can be polished, nails clean, hair tight, you know, all of the usual stuff. I don't want anything that's a distraction from the main thing of presenting this incredible business. Always have, for me, inside here I've got my business cards, which we used to, when we started, because we were broke, we used to go down to the railway station and get them, you know, in those machines where you always run out of money and time, don't you, before you finish your cards, and you have to go back in, and then you spend more money than you would have done if you'd gone down to the printers. So I always have those. Your future, because I like to give them something at the end. Okay? Now, bless you, I've got a product for that. What I'd like to do is to do a real one-to-one. All right? I don't know any other way. I can't recreate the chemistry and the feel of a one-to-one unless I'm doing a one-to-one. Does that make sense? It's not a mock one-to-one or a pretend one-to-one. It's quite difficult because I know everybody in this room. But we're going to do a one-to-one. I'm going to set the scene for you, if you like. The one-to-one is with somebody who I know, not a close friend, but I know. She and her husband. They've got a couple of kids. And let me just put this stuff so I'm ready to rock and roll. I apologize in advance for the fact that during this one-to-one I will totally ignore you. All right? My focus will be on my prospect. It has to be that way. And if there's a tip, when you are doing one-to-ones, you don't want to be intense and in their face. You don't want to make it a fraught event, but you need to give them focus. Because if you're constantly looking at your watch or looking out of the window, you know, it's not due respect to them, and it doesn't suggest that you are as you should be. When you meet people, normal greeting, you know, handshake is pretty normal in the UK, isn't it? If it's a member of the opposite sex, you know, a kiss on the cheek if you know them really well. If you don't know them very well, don't, because that's a bit over-familiar. If it's me with another guy, definitely that's out, all right? But, you know, so it's got to be appropriate for the circumstance. Again, I don't know about you, but I am sometimes a little bit sort of put onto the back foot when somebody is over-familiar too soon. That makes sense? This is all about relationships and getting the relationships right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to invite up onto the stage my prospect. I've made a phone call. I've expressed the fact that I'm doing something I think it could be of interest. Why don't we meet up? So we're meeting up for the purpose of doing a one-to-one. And I'd like you to please give a warm round of welcome to my prospect, Claire Browdell. Hello, Claire.
Hello.
Nice to see you
And
again.
you, John.
I'm glad you could make it. Come and sit down. Come and sit down.
Thank you.
There you go. If you sit there. How are the kids? How are the kids?
They're great.
Yeah?
They're great, thank you. Yeah, keeping me busy.
I bet. And how's Paul?
Keeping me busy. No, he's fine, John.
Oh, good, good. The reason why I wanted to get together with you today, basically, is just to run by you something that I'm doing that I think could be a benefit to you, potentially. We'll see when I've shown you a little bit about what I'm doing.
Okay.
Just make sure this all ties up. All right, that's the holding page. All right, that was what was open and showing when she sat down. Okay. Now I've moved on to Forever Living Products International Inc. Let me tell you a little bit about how I got involved. Just over 17 years ago, Claire, you know, I was sort of at I suppose, a middle-age impasse. It was the previous recession. I worked very, very hard, and I got 4 kids, and I found myself in the unfortunate position of being broke after all those years of hard work, with a lack of security in where I was living. And I thought, you know, what is there for the future? Somebody approached us about a company called Forever Living Products. Within 3 years, we were on a 6-figure income. Within 6 years, really, we never needed to work again. So it's been a great journey for us. When I first looked at the business back in 1993, my person who was introducing me said, "Look, I want to ask you a question." And he asked me a question. I'd never been asked that question before. It rocked me back on my heels. But please, can I ask you the same question? Okay. You know, if time and money were no object, if you had both of those in abundance, what would you be doing in an ideal world? What would you like your life to be like?
I find that it's quite a hard question to answer. I would do a lot of travelling.
Yeah.
I would go places with my boys that they've never seen before, just so they could have different experiences and things that I perhaps didn't do at that young age.
Okay. Where would you like to travel to with them?
I'd never been to America. I'd like to go to the States.
Anywhere particularly in America?
I'd like to go to the bright lights of Las Vegas.
Yes.
My husband would love Las Vegas.
I bet he would. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I'd like if I had all the time, I would make sure I saw people more that mattered to me.
Yeah.
I'd take my mum for lunch.
Okay.
Regularly.
You can't do that at the moment.
I juggle lots of balls at the moment. I have lots of the things that I do. Look after the family. Paul has a busy career. Look after the children, and kind of, work 2 jobs myself.
Okay.
So maybe don't feel that I have time for things like that. I do a lot of things that would be for fun, just for fun.
Just for fun.
Just for fun, yeah. For no real reason, but because I could.
And all of those things you've said, are they really important to you?
Yes.
And how would you feel if you didn't get them?
I feel like life had perhaps passed us by, all of us, and not given us the things that we hoped we would have.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, you'd like to travel with your boys, you'd like to go out with your mum for lunch.
Yeah.
You just like to have some quality of life.
Yeah, because it's time that Paul is busy. We have a nice life, but it's Paul's career that brings that life.
Okay.
And he's busy doing that. So we need to have the time to all be there to make it work.
And am I reading you right, that you'd like something in your own right?
Yeah, I've probably lost my confidence a bit, really.
Okay.
Which is why I felt nervous about coming to see you today, really.
I don't bite, I promise you. I asked you those questions. I'm not prying into your personal affairs, but I just really needed to know where you were coming from, because with what's on offer, I want to make it relevant to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just see, make sure. Okay. Forever Living Products, which is what I do and who I'm with, they were a company founded over 30 years ago in America. This guy in the picture, Rex Morgan, he was the person who started it then. He's still in evidence. Right. And it's grown and grown and grown. And we now do a worldwide turnover of over 2.6 billion, which is a heck of a lot, isn't it?
I've never heard of them.
No, nor had I. They're trading in over 140 countries, so it's a global presence, global opportunity. And it's a company, what I liked when I looked at this, it's cash rich, it's debt free. So many companies currently are going under because they're running out of money. This company is entirely internally funded. And it's got lots and lots of assets. There's property assets, income-producing assets of over $1.5 billion. So it's cash-rich, debt-free, with lots and lots of assets. Okay. The trade body of which we are a member is called the Direct Selling Association. And Forever has won a number of awards and nominations for training support, the way it behaves, the way it treats people. And it's got a UK turnover of in excess of 36 million, which, when you look at it in terms of the marketplace, which is running about £19.5 million a day, means there's still plenty of way to go. This is the company's sales history. As you can see, 30-odd years of continuous and uninterrupted growth. Yeah. We've been through boom, bust, recession, depression, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Wars and everything else. And this company has just gone on quietly and successfully growing. To be honest, with 4 kids, I wanted something where I felt there was security long term. I could build a life on it. And it's evidenced by the figures, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Let me just make sure we're on the same page. There are 3 main reasons why we've enjoyed the success we have now for over 3 decades. The first thing is we've got an extraordinary product range. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in a while. The rapidly growing global marketplace in health, nutrition, and things like that. And it's got a proven and exceptional business model. This is not an experiment. This is something that works. It's worked consistently, and it's worked all over the world.
Okay.
The business we're in is actually based around aloe vera. Have you heard of aloe vera?
I've heard of aloe vera. I've seen it in a few products.
Yeah.
Some shampoo, some care products.
Yeah.
But that's probably about as much as I know about aloe vera, really.
Well, you're one step ahead of me, because when I looked at this in 1993, I'd never even heard of it. Right. These days, as you say, you go in the supermarkets and you see it on the shelves, and it's a key ingredient in so many things. The great thing about aloe is it's not new. It's like a sort of cactus-type plant. Actually, it's a member of the lily family.
Is this one?
That's one. That's an aloe vera plant, yeah. And it's been known about for about 4,000 years. And, if you look back through history, there's references to aloe vera from people like Gandhi. Cleopatra used it as a beauty preparation, etc. The great thing is it has great effects both internally and externally. It's a natural cleanser. It normalizes the bodily functions. Natural cleanser. I'll say no more than that. Maintains healthy skin. In other words, it's good for you. It's not invented by somebody in a white coat.
Okay.
People have used this where it grows naturally. Unfortunately, in Derby, it doesn't grow naturally because you get frost up there, don't you? It only grows in warm climates.
Okay.
Why forever aloe vera? Well, quite simply because we do it bigger and better than anybody else. Our aloe is grown organically. We don't use nasty sprays and things never have in 30-odd years. We don't use herbicides, pesticides. We don't genetically modify in any way, shape, or form. And the key thing is that we extract the core of the plant, which is where the goodness is. We use an unfiltered system. We don't take anything out that nature intended to be in. We just extract that core where all the goodness is and discard the outer part and dig that back into the ground, actually, as natural fertilizer. And we use a cold processing method because we don't want to do anything. We don't want to heat it or do anything like that, which will take away.
Change it.
Yeah, exactly. It's harvested by hand, and we have extremely rigid quality standards right the way through so that we can get the benefits of the product to the end user.
Okay. Are these drinks there? You can drink it?
Yeah, funny enough, a lot of people I meet, they know about aloe vera as a topical preparation, things like sun creams, but they're not aware that you can take it internally.
Not at all.
But there are about 4 varieties of medicinal aloe, and we only use the most potent one. It is extraordinary. I've been on it for 17 years.
Right, okay.
Still don't like the taste, but it's a fantastic effect.
What does it taste like?
You have to taste it to really believe it. It's not vile, but it's not great.
Okay.
All right. And we've got all the standards you'd expect from an international company that's trading. You
Right,
know,
okay.
we have the kosher rating. We have PETA. You know, that's people
Yep.
who are concerned about animal treatment. We've got a 60-day money-back guarantee. People can quite simply try the products if they don't get on with them and return them and get their money
Okay.
back. So
Well, that's good to
it's
know.
pretty relaxed. We're cruelty-free. We're halal. We're members of a thing called the International Aloe Science Council, which is, again, a controlling body that monitors quality. So we've got all those benchmark tests. Quite literally, we can sell our products anytime, any place, anywhere on this planet.
Okay.
The products, how can I describe the product range? We've got hair care, skin care, tooth care, body care, weight management, nutrition, look good, feel good, take care of yourself. Okay, so there's
all based on the aloe.
all based around aloe. Yes, it's the principal ingredient. Look, I'll just show you a few products, just to give you a flyby.
Okay.
Am I on the right page? I don't normally have to press buttons, and you know, I'm a man. I only do one thing well, all right? Not that well at times, I'm told. I'm thinking about the argue again. This is our biggest single selling product,
Okay.
aloe vera gel. That's a drink. That's as close as it's possible to filleting a mature aloe leaf, taking out the contents and putting it into a glass.
Okay.
You typically keep it in the fridge, shake it up. You take about a third of a wine glass on an empty stomach every morning. What does it do? Different strokes for different folks. For me, I had a few problems with inflammatory conditions, which I found after a time cleared up. It's not a cure or anything like that, but it just seems to help the body optimize its performance. My father-in-law's got a hiatus hernia, and he found he wasn't having to munch Gaviscon, and so on and so forth. One of my other sons takes it because he's very involved in Keep Fit, and he finds it just helps. Yeah, it's just a fantastic product. We've got things that you'd recognize, you know, things like shampoo and conditioner. They're all highly concentrated.
Okay.
They're safe. We don't have any nasty things in there. Interesting enough with the shampoo, you only need one shampoo for all hair types. You know, not this sort of one for fine hair, one for thick hair, one for...
Yeah, like our bathroom.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah. No, one size fits all. We've got, what else have we got? We've got a liquid soap. This is only part of our range. We've got close to 200 products now.
Right,
I just wanted you to
yeah.
get a feel for the type of products. This is our liquid soap. Particularly good for cleansing the skin, obviously. You can even take your eye makeup off with it. It's safe, it's gentle. But it's particularly good when we're working with people who have, say, skin problems. You know, the eczemas, the psoriasis, things like that.
Oh, it helps with that too.
It's very important we get the skin clean from all the chemicals before we go to work on it. And it's just a very nice thing. It smells lovely. We don't use strong artificial fragrances or anything like that. Super products. What else have we got in here? Well, let me just pull some of these out and I can just talk very quickly about them. What else have we got? We have got, this is little aloe lips.
Okay.
What it says on the can is what it does. It's a chapstick, it's dry lips, that sort of thing. But it's very good for, I don't know, mosquito bites, small paper cuts, all that sort of thing. It's a little first aid stick in a stick. Yep. This is our Aloe Evershield stick deodorant. Doesn't contain any of those nasty aluminium salts. I don't know if you've seen anything in the press about that.
No, I haven't.
You should really avoid those. Not very good for long-term health. This is totally safe. It's unisex, as are nearly all of our products. Equally suitable for male and female.
I use one of those gentle ones like Dove. Would that not have? Would that have anything?
I think you would notice the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Once people are on that, you usually find after one stick they won't switch to anything else. It's very gentle, very soothing, very calming. Doesn't matter how many times you apply it. So if you're wearing something, you're in a hot environment. It doesn't sort of cumulatively build up and stain your dress and all that sort of stuff. Aloe vera jelly, that's a homogenized form of that. It's suitable for skin conditions such as psoriasis. It's good for burns, cuts, bites, lesions, abrasions.
Right, okay.
You've got a couple of boys.
Yep.
We used it at home as like a mobile first aid thing.
Yeah,
if
so
ever they
any
graze
damage?
themselves, any damage,
Okay.
anything like that. Fantastic product. This is one that's slightly different. This has got propolis from the beehive, because we're also the world's biggest beekeepers as well. And that's, if you like, an antibiotic cream. Has all the properties of an antibiotic cream without the nasty implications.
Right.
Our youngest boy had problems with eczema, and we got him off the steroidal creams and onto this. We've got a great result with that. Forever Bright is like going to the hygienist every day. I mean, it's extraordinary. It looks like condensed Shrek, but it's absolutely incredible. Your breath's better.
Yeah.
Your teeth are whiter and cleaner. You don't get bleeding gums, sensitive teeth, all that sort of stuff. It's something my mum had a real bad time with until we got her onto that.
Well, my mum's always at the hygienist every 3 months and hates it.
Yeah.
So that might be something I could tell her about.
The final one here, but not in the entire range, is a moisturising lotion.
Okay.
This is a unisex moisturiser. These days men are using moisturisers, but they don't want them fragranced in a particular way. It's very potent. It's got lots of collagen, lots of elastin in, but the principal thing, it's got loads of aloe. And aloe is very repairing, restorative to the skin, very good for the skin. So finally people can put things on their skin that are actually doing them health benefit rather than health harm. So it gives you a feel. I mean, we always say that sort of cradle to the grave.
Can I ask you, John, this product, is this, would it help? I have a poorly husband.
Yes.
With a lot of problems with his digestive system.
Yeah.
He's under the doctors a lot and so on. And would that kind of product help?
It could do. It could do. The person who introduced us, in fact, he was a Crohn's disease sufferer.
Right,
And,
okay. I mean, the doctors have said IBS, but I don't think they know, really.
Yeah, if it's Crohn's, IBS, it's probably not curable, but certainly that product seems to give an awful lot of people an awful lot of benefit. And if it doesn't work, we give people their money back.
Okay. It's quite exciting.
It's very exciting.
Especially if it doesn't taste very nice as well. That could be very exciting.
Well, I'll own up to the fact I also took it because I used to snore. So if I didn't want to take it, Jane would force me to take it. So that's another thing. Okay. Very often people say to me, if your company's that big and that successful, why can't I buy the products in the shops?
Yeah.
Because we've never sold through the shops, never sold in the high street.
Okay.
And if you look at shopping, per se, high street shopping, it's almost a dying art form now, but the problem with it is, it involves very high investment. It involves the shopkeeper in holding a lot of stock, which of course is passed on in the price to the customer. And they have to pay staff who are usually not particularly motivated. Anyway, they're there because they get paid, that's all. Very rigid and long hours. This open all hours concept has come back, hasn't it? There's no support. You're very much on your own running a shop. And it's very impersonal. I don't know about you, but I go into shops and half the time they almost begrudge me the service. With our team marketing, what happens is we're in a sort of a low investment situation. We don't have to hold stock. We don't have to hold staff. We're enthusiastic users of the products. Right. We just go and pass it on to other people. You can have flexible or part-time hours, so you can fit this around family, etc., etc. Yeah. You've got full support, because most of us come in knowing very little at the beginning, but it's full support. Okay. And it's a caring and very personal business. But perhaps the most important thing from my viewpoint was the fact that it was simple. I thought if it's not simple, I can't do it.
Absolutely. Well, I would be quite, well, it reassures me to know it's quite simple.
Good, good. The benefits of forever what we call team marketing is that people trust personal recommendation, don't they? If you're told by a friend to go and see a movie because they loved it, you tend to believe them. Yeah. Probably more than you do if you read the Daily Telegraph review of the picture. Yeah, definitely. It's a home-based business, so there's no commuting, there's no travelling to work, which is good. Everyone is dealing directly with Forever, a major international company, which I think is always a good thing. Goods are dispatched by professional people, they're invoiced by professional people. And very high return, high earning potential. We've got access to international markets. That's the other thing. In this short overview, I can't get into that in depth, but it truly is an international opportunity. You know, if you know somebody in Europe or you know somebody in America or Australia or wherever, you can also build a business there as well. There's a royalty income. Royalty income is where you do the work up front, and what happens then, you generate a stream of income that comes in again and again and again, but you've only done the work.
Like if you wrote a book?
Yeah, exactly the same as if you wrote a book or you recorded something, yeah. I know, anybody who knows me will know I'll never earn my living from recording music. There's profit share. They get a share of the company turnover. There's international travel, there's car. There's a whole package there, you know, that top corporate people going through the hell they go through would envy. Fortunately, you can have it with this company without going through all of that. It's a totally equal opportunity. We don't care whether people are male, female, tall, short, fat, thin, you know, whatever background they've come from. Really more concerned with where people want to go to than where they've come from. It's based on solid ethical values. That was important to me. You know, it wasn't just about making money. It was about how you made the money. It was a feel-good factor, you know. And there's personal development second to none. I've seen people achieve things and become things they never would have believed possible.
That's good to know.
The great thing about this is it's a very simple process. It's quick and easy to learn. It's very easy to teach. That's the important thing. It's your ability to learn a simple process and then show it to other people, and they take that on board. And all we do basically is focus on developing a very small customer base, people we know who might like to use these products, who want better health, longer life, etc. 20 plus regular customers. Jane and I have had between 20 and 30 regular customers for the last 17 years.
So you don't have any more than that now, even though you're...
No, you know, it fits in around the other things we do in building a business. We're not direct salespeople. We just go out and share a few products with a few people.
And would you help me to do that?
Of course, of course. That's part of the backup training and support. You know, you don't know how to do it. I know how to do it, so I'll help you find out how to do it. We look for 5 key people. Now, what do I mean by key people? Well, these are people who want to do something about changing their life. You know, how many people do you have to find the key 5? I don't know, 25, whatever it takes. But that will build an incredible business which will change your life out of all recognition. And the other thing is we focus on coaching people. You know, you're saying, how would I learn this stuff? Well, my job would be to coach you how to do it, and then you plug into the training and support program provided by the company. So it's little by little, you know. It's not rocket science.
No,
I just want to make sure we're on the right page. How do we get paid? I'm sure you're not interested in the money, but I'll show it to you anyway. Really, there's a number of areas of income potential. We can concentrate on retailing. Some people do. That's what they want to do, and that's all they want to do. Typically, that will yield somewhere between 175 and 240 pounds a month. You know, you've got a small customer base there in the example, 20 customers, 25 pounds each, 500 pounds turnover. And depending on where you are on the career plan, determines the percentages you get. But 175, 240 pounds a month. I mean, I think you'd agree that most people would welcome an extra couple of £100 a month. Very, very part-time.
Absolutely,
If you want more than that, there's team building. What's that? It's basically doing what I said in the first example, learning how to look after a few customers, and then building a team of other people to do the same. You know, I mean, let me give you an example of how it works. Do you know 2 people?
I do.
Of course you do. Well, let's say those 2 people want to do what you do. You've got your time and their time in the business, and they each know 2, and they each know 2. And all we do, we multiply it down. In this example, we've got 30 people doing that £500 we talked about. Got a little business doing 15,000, but you're only doing 500 of it. That's the key thing. That will typically make you anywhere between 500 and 2,000 pounds a month part-time. And in this example, you can see we've worked on an average of 8%. That's a typical yield. I can't think how you'd earn any less. That's making £1,200 a month. So it's a good secondary income or a replacement income.
What kind of hours, John, would I put, do you think, to do to £1,000 a month?
I would say somewhere between 10 and 15 hours a week. You know, it's an hour and a half a day. It doesn't have to be 1.5 hours a day, but it's in the nooks and crannies. It's about grabbing a bit of time and dumping the things that are unnecessary.
Okay.
All right? If you're a bit more ambitious than that, we can take it further and we can get into royalty. And royalty is really about you learning how to become competent as a team leader and then teaching other people how to become competent as a leader.
Okay.
Royalty yields anything from £2,000 to £20,000 a month, plus.
A month?
A month. I know, that's what I thought when I first saw it. You know, I didn't know anybody made £20,000 a month. But there are lots of people in this organisation who are, and a lot more than that.
This is the bit then where my husband was a little bit wary of me coming to, he just said, I'm not sure whether these things work.
That's a common reaction.
Yeah.
And I can't say about other companies, this company definitely works.
Wow.
And the results are there to see.
Okay.
And I'll talk to you about that in
Okay.
a moment. But that works really on the understanding. You just put more people into the business. Instead of finding 2, you find 3.
Yeah.
3 becomes 9,
Okay.
9 becomes 27.
So the bigger team you get.
The bigger team you get. And then you're developing leaders who are looking after their teams.
Right.
Typically, but pays about 5%. I can't remember ever having had less than 5%. That's £3,000 a month, which, you know, that replaces a quite decent full-time job. It's a career option, really. If you want it more again, do more. Do 5. 5 5's 25, 1 2 5. Develop a team like that, doing £500 each, all built on that same simple business model, part-time. Okay. Now we're doing £390,000 a month. 5% of that, £19,500 a month. And when I first saw that, I didn't believe a word of it. I thought I've never met anybody who makes £19,500 a month. And then I thought, hang on a minute, if I could do half of that, it's still 10. If I could do half of that, it's still 5. It's got to be worth having a go at this to make £5 grand a month.
It's quite staggering to think you could perhaps make this kind of money. I mean, I'm working my 2 jobs for kind of around £500 a month at the moment.
Wow. I bet that makes your eyes smart, doesn't it?
It makes me think, can people like me really build incomes like this?
You can, with help and support, and if you want to, obviously. On top of that, there are other incentives as well. Every year, the company shares out the part of the company turnover in the form of profit share checks. In the UK last year, it was over £600,000, over $17 million worldwide, just to ordinary people like you and me who just wanted more out of their lives.
Wow.
You can see some people here in the pictures. You know, I know all these people. They breathe the same air we do. They've got the same challenges we all have, but having great lives. On top of that, there are other incentives as well. I know. There's a car program. Technically, it's called the Earned Incentive Program, but that's a mouthful. We call it the car plan. That's where you can get up to £6,300 per annum to buy the car you want that's yours.
Okay. On top?
On top. This is all on top, yeah. And then there's international travel. You said you like to travel. How would you like to travel free?
Oh, definitely.
Well, there's a program here whereby the 2 main events a year, one in Europe and one in the States, and you can travel there, all expenses paid, stay in the best hotels, eat great food. And if you go to the States, you can have up to $3,000 cash spending money. It's an extraordinary program.
Do they go to Las Vegas?
Yes, that is normally included in the itinerary.
Really?
But most of us come into this knowing nothing about these sorts of products and nothing about this type of marketing, as indeed I did back in 1993. The great thing is there is an award-winning training and support program. It holds your hand every step of the way. We've got high-quality sales and marketing tools. You know, I hate it when people have shabby bits of photocopied paper. It's all first class, and it's produced in-house by the team who are very quality-driven. You've got local, national, and international training seminars and events. And the final thing is really we've got a professional advisory board. We've got people who do know all the techie stuff.
Okay.
All right? We've got a doctor here who is one of the most knowledgeable people in the world. He's an ex-GP who got very intrigued by aloe and what it did, and he's on our advisory board. He answers questions about aloe. And we've got this guy here, David Urch. He's a vet, so the animal side, which is also a big part of our business. And Dawn here, she's beauty and nutrition. So any questions we've got, we don't have to worry about. We can get them answered. If I can't answer them, we know somebody who can. That's the key.
Okay.
Sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it?
Parts of it do.
Yeah, that was my first reaction. I suppose I was a bit cynical, having been out in the wicked world for so many years.
See, I'm quite trusting. My husband is not the same.
No.
But I am quite trusting, and if I feel that someone would, I have to know that someone would help me. And
They will. This is a safe environment, and I can understand where he's coming from. But, you know, once he sees what we're all about, I think he'll see a different view. The reality is, all right, it's not something for nothing. It's not a free lunch.
No.
You know, you've got to put some time and you've got to put some effort in.
Okay.
The great thing is that the reward you get is proportional to the time and effort that you put in.
Yeah,
The more you do,
that.
the more you get.
Yeah.
You'll learn and develop new skills. When I first started the business, I had a terrible stammer. You know.
Really?
Yeah. I'd had it from childhood. It was my biggest nightmare. Doing what I'm doing, talking to you.
Gosh.
My biggest nightmare. But with practice, you know, if it's important enough, you can overcome those things, don't you? You've got to be prepared to change. That's the thing. You know, you're not the finished product until you draw your final breath, really. And be part of a dynamic team. You know, this company's going places. It's a question of whether you would want to be part of it.
Okay.
From what you've seen so far, Claire, I mean, obviously there's a lot more information still to come. Can you see now how you could access that travel and that time that's so important to you? Realize some of those dreams. Be honest with me. From what you've seen, do you see something in this for yourself at this stage? Yes or no? And feel totally comfortable to say no.
I feel I want to know more about it. I want to know more about it, and so that I can understand. But yes, I do see something for me. Perhaps for me,
all right.
for the first time.
That's good, that's good. That's how I felt when I first looked at it.
Okay.
What I'd like to do, let me make a suggestion to you. What I'd like to do, I'd like to invite you along as my personal guest. We have a business presentation. It's at the Holiday Inn.
Okay.
Right? It's on a Tuesday night. It starts at 8 o'clock. Come along and meet some of the other people who are involved. You'll get some more information. You can ask any questions. We're very open. And if you still like what you see, let's go ahead and do it. And if you don't, we won't. Is that fair?
That's fine. Can I bring Paul with me?
I was going to suggest that. Bring Paul with you. What I'd like to do, this is a little DVD for you to have a look at. Give you a little bit more information about who we are. Also, I'll give you my card, just in case you forget. All right.
Well, you'll be there, John, won't you?
Look, I'll be. If it starts at 8 o'clock, if you could be there at 7:45, I'll be in the foyer.
Okay.
All right. It's on Tuesday. It's at 8 o'clock. But as I say, I'll be there from 7:45 onwards.
Okay. What do I wear?
It's a business presentation.
Okay.
So, you know, it's not...
Smart.
Paul doesn't have to wear a suit and all that sort of stuff, but tidy, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not jeans or anything like that.
I think he will come. I mean, I don't need him to come to say, yes, you do it. I need him just to come so I would feel better that he understands it. That's
Okay.
where
Well, that's the sort of response I would have expected, to be honest. There's the card. Stick that in there so you don't lose it. So what I'll do, I'll be in the foyer of the hotel on Tuesday, 7:45.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to be pretty swept away.
I feel quite excited. I feel quite
Good.
nervous, like I
Good.
did before, but I feel quite excited.
Good. If
Thank
by
you.
any chance anything crops up, just one thing, can I ask you to give me a call? Because I obviously will be reserving
Yeah,
your
of course.
place.
Yeah.
And I'd be a bit embarrassed by not having the person there. all
I'll
right?
definitely let you know if anything changes. But
Claire, thanks very much for
Thank
sharing
you.
your time with me.
thank
all
you
right?
very much. It's been lovely. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Claire. That was fantastic. I know just how nerve-wracking it is to do a live mock one-to-one. I don't know if you were just watching the components there. That was all interactive, reactive, personal. Yeah, I wasn't being a smart supersonic salesman because I don't know how to do that. I'm not, all right? I'm just being me, talking to a clearly very nice lady who cares about her family, and I've got some solutions to her problem, potentially. Right? That's all it is. You know, if I have to say anything about people, do them and do them regularly, because the more you do, the better you'll get. You've heard it already from the other speakers. This is one of the fundamental pillars. And in a duplicatable process, it's important you do something in a fairly standardized way. All right? Because you will never duplicate if you don't do something. This material has your words to it, but if you use and duplicate the material, then you have what is essentially a network marketing company. That's what it's about. Jane and I, in the last 6 weeks, have been in 3 different countries, in 2 different continents. And what's been really fascinating is seeing people down to our 41st generation of manager doing a one-to-one in a recognizable format. You see, the keys in their work. That's the important thing. The keys in there, the things that tie it together that make that presentation work, and they work here, and they'll work for you. If you duplicate a fragmented message, you will have a fragmented business. So when I first saw that, I think, hey, this is a no-brainer. I'm not very bright, but if I can learn some simple stuff like how to present the business, and then teach other people how to present the business, and teach them how to teach other people how to present the business, that seems to be the way to go. And so it's proved. Look,